All right. While I was gone, one of the things that I found, and I remembered this, but I forgot a few minutes ago. Cardo is free for students. You do have to get a GitHub account. Kind of a little bit of a process. So if you just hit sign up with GitHub, then that will take you to here. But you'll need to create a GitHub account if you don't have one. An easier way to get through the process, yeah, this is it. It's called the GitHub Student Developer Pack. There you go. It comes with a lot of software. I mean, you don't really, for this course, you don't really need any of it, but we do use GitHub a little bit towards the end of the course. I just introduce it. So getting an account isn't a bad thing. GitHub is a place where you can upload code and share code with other people. So anyway, it's education.github.com/pack. So you get your pack. There's still a period of time associated with getting that. But once you do, Cardo is free, and you get like the kind of a little bit more they call it premium. It's not the top level, but you get a little bit more upgraded account for 2 years. So anyway, probably nobody heard back already, right? Like, yeah. Okay, so for today, we'll just go through with my account, and I think even this has an approval process. If I hit get my pack, I hit sign in. Here it asks me if I'm really a student, which technically I'm not a student. See, I fall into this thing. So I'm not going to follow that through, but if you hit yes, I'm a student, you should be able to get the thing. And then I'll put it on the lab page. I'll put my password for Cardo, and that way you'll be able to get in later. So once you get in here, you have all your maps. So we got maps on the page. But really, the first step has to do with data, getting data in there. Okay, so if I want to go look at my data sets, I change it to data sets. These are all the data sets that I have loaded. One of them is the USA tornado data set. Can I delete this one? Just want to show you real quick. I'm going to delete this data set for a second. Because I want to do it again. But actually, before I do that, I want to show you how CartoDB, or one way CartoDB is better, or not better, but it allows you to do things that are more powerful in CartoDB than they are in Google Maps. Okay, so one of the things is I said that it's data centric, it's data driven. So we can add a new data set, and we can get the data set. It's kind of like how we did it in how I showed you how you could do it in ArcMath or ArcGIS online a couple weeks back. We can add data right from a URL, or we can add any of these data types. We've got CSV, XLS, zip file. The zip needs to be a zip shapefile, KML, GPX, and all these different files. Now, KML is an option, but I didn't practice this. I'm just going to see what happens if I put the same counties to KML up there. I'm not sure that it's going to get the symbology or even get the table that I want. So I'm just seeing what it's doing. Okay, it did. There are some empty data sets, and it actually isn't giving me. So it's putting all of the attribute information into the into the pop-up. So I get all this pop-up information. So it's not really useful because I don't have a column that tells me the population data. That's what I want. I want the population data because I want to create a map of the population data right in this thing. So this isn't what I want. So I'm going to delete that. That's not the same one. But in any case, that data set didn't have any. There it is. Delete data set. I'm also going to delete this data set. There's nothing in it. All right. So what I want to do is to create that new data set if I look at this, I can upload a shapefile if it's zipped. I already have a shapefile of the counties that I want to include. So what I can do is just zip those up together. Now you'll see that you have these little these are all the files that constitute a shapefile. For those of you who take in a vector class, we're talking about that. We talked a little bit about it in the introductory GIS class. So the VBF is the attribute information. The SHP file is the geometry information. There's projection information stored here. There's an index file stored here. So there's a bunch of different files. But I'm always going to have this this SR lock on this data if the data set is open. Now I'm pretty sure that I don't even need those. So what you need to do if you want to create a zip file for CartoDB, or really you want to share the zip file with anybody, is to take all of the files except for those .sr lock files and then zip those up. I'm going to send those to a compressed zip folder. I'm just going to call this mscounties.zip. Right? Now I should be able to upload that same file to CartoDB. And then hit Connect Dataset. So it has to upload it, and then it has to actually unzip it, store it on its server, and now it's showing us that data. So it's actually converted it to the format that they have all of their data in, which is in this database called a Postgres SQL database. It's an enterprise database. Like you might have heard of Oracle or Microsoft SQL Server. It's an open source database. And so the data is stored there. One reason I can tell what type of database it is I'm familiar with this, and this is one of the standard names. Just like in ArcGIS, the standard name for the shape column is called shape. One of the two standard names in PostGIS is the _geometry. So I know that that's what they're using. Besides, if you read like the FAQs on the data set, on their website, it'll tell you. But we have all of this same information that was there as the shapefile, but it's been imported. into the data set. We could get it back by exporting it into different formats, including GeoJSON. But what we really want to do with it is to create a map with it. Let's see what this toggle does. Yeah. We will actually use this later in the semester because we're going to talk a little bit about SQL. We're talking a little bit about it more in my other class, so those of you who are in it. But this is the SQL query that created this table that you're looking at. Okay? And I could actually create a new table that's a subset or that's a modification of this table. And even more powerful, this is kind of an advanced topic, I could actually write a spatial query that joined two tables. So I could upload two different data sets. Let's see, I could upload all of the deaths. That'd be sad, but all the deaths that happened because of a hurricane. And then I could upload all the counties, and I could write an SQL query that would join those two data sets, and I could show the count of the number of deaths, number of casualties by county. Okay, so I can even do this. This really is an online GIS tool, but the language that you interact with it in is SQL. So I could just, like, if I only wanted to make where P00100001 is greater than, I don't know, 6,000. There's got to be some counties in Mississippi that have populations under 6,000. So if I hit apply here, I must not be formulating this right. Oh, I deleted the word where, didn't I? Sorry. That's my problem. I don't know how I did that, but that was my problem. Okay, so now I only have those counties. I have 40 now. Let's see if I change this to 20,000 and hit apply. Still have 40. I see some that are. Yep, okay, so I changed it to greater than 30,000, and now I only have 27 counties that fit that criteria. So that's not a very complex query, but you kind of get the idea. If I hit apply back, I have 40, but that's only on the first page. Okay, so I probably was restricting some. Yeah, there's 80 counties, I guess, in Mississippi. I forgot I didn't go to school here, but oh, maybe there's more because there's probably a third page. 85 counties, it looks like. All right, so I could do a query. You could even do a query on the geometry. You could say, you could provide an additional geometric set. For example, if I had the counties of all the United States, I could say all the counties within a certain distance of this point. Okay? All right, so if you really do want a what's the name of that? What is the name? If you want a beginner course on that, I'll get back to you. But there's a great web page that has, or a great website that has some tutorials on spatial SQL. So. And I have it written down because I'm going to use it in my other class, but I don't have that at the tip of my fingers right now. Okay, so we have our data uploaded. And the next thing thing that we want to be able to do is create a map. So we're going to hit create map with this data set. And what that allows us to do is it imports this data set into a map. And this data set contains all the information that you saw before. It's kind of like having a GIS system at our fingertips. And we can do something like change the symbol. So we can change the visualization, change the polygon color, but you know, we might want to do something a little more like we might want to color it by the particular type. Okay, that's the pop-up. Legend. We want to add all these. That's not what I want. Where is? Oh, it's this one. No. Oh, by value. That's what I meant to do. Okay, so under polygon color, if you change the by value, that does the same thing as it does in ArcGIS, and I can choose the population data. And now I've made a map, although the color is different. I can change the custom color set. I can change that to, well, it doesn't. Well, this one was a little bit more like the one that we did in class, in ArcGIS Pro. Okay. I can also change, for example, just like in ArcGIS Pro. I know I have trouble even getting to the symbology before, but whoops, that wasn't it. Right click. Now I know how to get there. Symbology under primary symbol. So under the method here, we've got natural breaks, quantile, equal interval, defined interval. You have some of those same choices here. Okay. You know, this isn't a class where we discuss any of those classification types, but they'll change the way it looks slightly. Jinx is natural breaks. People choose that one a lot. Okay. That one looks pretty good, so I'll leave that there. And then I can change the stroke size, the stroke color. Blending doesn't really apply to this one, but you are going to use it in one of the tutorials that I'm going to have you do later. You turn on the labels, just like a GIS system, where we decide to label it by the county name. Okay, it's a little bit crazy. I'm not sure that I would ever do that in real life, but I have that ability. I probably want to turn that off. All right. Just for completeness, the company Mapbox invented this tool called Carto CSS, and actually every time you change anything here, you're actually changing some code. So for now, just leave it on values, but it is all code driven. So you could upload or include your own Carto CSS to change something a little bit different. For example, I can modify these values on my own if I decided that I wanted a slightly different color. So, you know, I could reach in and change that to an F, and I don't know. Whoops, I mean to press enter. I don't know what that's going to do. Not much. Let's make it like way different. So I made those like red. So if there was some reason why I wanted to change that, I could and go back to the values. So you have the same capabilities or very similar capabilities that you do in ArcGIS, but to really tinker under the hood here, you have to know a little bit of coding, but you can make basic maps very easily. I just did. So, whoops. There we go. I just cleared it out because I didn't really want to make those red. But there could be a reason, like if those were very anomalous, that you'd want to make them appear a different color. Now here we have a little bit more control over the pop-up than we had when we exported as a KML. We can specify a few different colors of pop-ups. You know, I'm just going to choose this kind of dark theme. So now when I click on it, I'll get that dark pop-up. But I first have to select the fields that I want to show up. So I only want the county name to show up and the population to show up. Those are really the only two things on my map. So they're the only two things that are really important. So I have that ability to just put the appropriate information into my map. Now once I've created a map, I do have the ability also, make sure I save this. I also want to put a legend on real quick. So I got my legend. I can change the title to people. And there's the legend right there. Pretty legend. I want to change the whole map title to people by county. There we go. Looks pretty official. Okay, I can go back here, and I can add a new layer. So I have one layer displayed here, but I could have another layer that had point symbols on it. You know, like, and I could have another layer that had different symbols on it. So again, multiple layers still, and all those layers can have a different set of information, just like any map. All right, you do have this concept, and we have this in ArcGIS too, and they call them almost the same thing, this widget concept. Oh, here, let's see if we can add a widget here. Let's add a histogram for the that layer, the county population layer. So now I have a little graph on the side that shows me for this county, for this data, it gives me a histogram. And it's like you'd expect for a population layer. There's a lot of not so populated counties, and we get up further. I could change some of the data in the widget. Oh, that's right here. I can change the color. Maybe you want to make the color a little more similar to the green that's actually on the map. I don't know if I can do that. I could go copy the Carto CSS for one of these greens and get the exact same color. I can change the number of buckets. The buckets in a histogram are the dividing lines. All right. I can change the title right here. I should call this county population. So that's a widget. You can you could do a formula. A formula is one way to include information about the data that's there. Okay, so these are just two total population statistics. I could update this and choose. I've chosen the average. But if I wanted to get the sum, so I can display information. So that's the total population of all of the counties there. And I could even rename this. And then save that. Change this to max. This county, right? Nice. So I've got these various widgets there. So now I've made my map. It's got some graphs. It's got some extra information associated with it. You can click on it. It's got a legend. It's got everything that you might want to put on a map, okay, to tell a particular story. So now I hit publish, and I can publish it. I gotta hit publish twice, I guess. Okay, there's the link. So now I can put that link, and I can send people the link, and I've got my my map that I just created. Okay. I probably should change the title there of the page. I can also embed it just like I did with the other maps. In fact, I could put them both on the same page. Save that out and look at it. Did I leave it open? I don't think I did. It's called a test GT. I didn't mean to do that. So now I've embedded that on a page. So I could write an article about this map above, and then have the map there, and write more information below. And again, I changed the width and the height right here. So this one's the width was 100%. So I could change that to 80%, or I could change it to a specific set number of pixels. Here's what happens if I change it to 80%. That only takes up 80% of the screen. Since it's Mississippi, we really don't need that. So now I can also change it to 400 or something. That's a little bit ridiculous. It doesn't fit there. Let's go back to 800. That's still a little small, but that is that's Cardo. So Cardo, you can see that websites like this and ArcGIS Online next week are much more powerful in that they allow you to do some geographic analysis and build your website as part of the process of getting your data into the system. Whereas in my maps, you really have to do all the symbology. You have to have your own GIS system. You have to make the symbology first, then upload it and put it onto my map. You have to get a difference in approaches there. And to be honest, this is free, and this costs money. There is a free tier. That's what we're signing up for. There is a free tier, even if when they get back to you, even if you don't sign up for the student one, they'll give you an account and you'll have a free tier. That's what I have. But if you wanted to utilize this as in industry, you would have to You have to pay if you wanted to make lots and lots of sites, because it's a GIS system that's running in the background. It's running that that database for you, the Postgres database. But ArcGIS isn't free either. So here you have to have this desktop piece of software to get it symbolized the way you want it. There are free desktop softwares though, like QGIS, that could allow you to export the data the way you want. All right. So, not what I want. Yeah, let's look at the, I'm gonna leave that up for a second. I don't know why, I just can't close web browsers. All right, so let's look at where we are so far on here. So what I want you to do so far is to make a map in MapMaker and Carto with your data. And like I did as a demonstration, it'd be nice to tell a story, to symbolize your data somehow and convey a message. So not just put up a map and have everything the same color. That's not going to get full credit. Full credit means you got a map and there's some symbols on it and it's an actual thematic map. Right? Okay, so I said you might need to export your data in different formats to get it up there, but I've shown you a few ways to do that. Try to tell a story with your map. Then I pretty much already did this one, okay? But it's helpful to do these as well. If you go to these links, you might have to cut and paste. I should have made them live. I'm not exactly sure how. But if you go to each of these links, there's a help, and this is where I thought. Let's see what it says here. Oh, it already lets me in. Anyway. It kind of walks you through. This is exactly what I already went through, creating a map, custom styling a little bit. So you probably don't really have to go through that one, because that one doesn't have a. So yeah, you won't need a map from this one, because the map that you create, I'll count that as the map that you create from Carto. But these other ones, you'll create a map each time through. Here's base maps for rendering backgrounds. So you're going to go through, you're going to create this map. It's going to show you, going to talk about different base maps and how you can actually create base maps and use the same base map twice, once showing only the labels and once not showing the labels. That's a technique that's often used in web mapping, so that you can put the labels on top of any thematic elements. Anyway, that's what that talks about. Okay. All right. I got another thing that I want to show you in CartoDB, though. Or it's not. They actually rebranded, so it's just Carto. I'm going to upload that tornado data set. I'm going to hit Add Data. If you accidentally hit Add Map, that's fine. Dashboard, I hit New Map. If you hit New Map, then you hit Add Data Set is what you really want. Connect Data Set. All right, so here I'm going to upload the GeoJSON file. You guys mind if I turn these lights on? Okay. All right, so now I'm gonna upload that data set. I think it's gonna still be in downloads, and star.geojson. U.S. tornadoes, time enabled. I'm going to connect this data set. That's going to take, well, at home it took me like 2 minutes to upload that, but I forgot the internet's a lot faster here than it is. Well, maybe I was just thinking of this part. Anyway, this data set's a lot bigger, 35 megabytes. That's not huge, but it's a lot bigger than the county data set that I uploaded before, because it's all of the data, for all of these tornadoes from 1950 all the way up through last year. And so I can, before I actually get into making the map, the reason why I went right into the map is that well, here, let's do this. So I can toggle between the map and the data. So if I only want to, oh, that won't work. I'm trying to get to the place where I can do the query. So, well, maybe if I go to data. Nope. Okay. So the reason that it took me right to this map, I'm just going to go back to Carto. The reason it took me right to this is because I said new map and then I imported the data. So I'm actually going to get rid of this map real quick. Oh, I'll just go back to it in a second. What I really want to see is the data. So I have my US time enabled data set. And here, what I wanted to show you though is that I can change things just in this data set. So I can see just the data sets from a certain year. So what if I only wanted to see 2017, where YR equals 2017. So now these are only the 2017 data. So if I hit create map from that, this data set is only the 2017 data. I can zoom in and now I can really easily see that tornado from 2017. I've got several other tornadoes in 2017. I don't remember that many tornadoes. I do think I actually remember this tornado right here, because it was a little bit after this tornado. And so, when you've just been hit by a tornado, you're a little bit more aware of tornadoes. But it was a smaller tornado, and there's not a whole lot of stuff down there. But let's say that I don't like the way that this map is symbolized because it's not telling me anything about these tornadoes other than where they were, where they went. So again, I could go in and edit this layer. I could change by value. This OM, I'm not sure what the O stands for, but I'm pretty sure the M stands for magnitude. And so they range from 0 to 5 on that, F5 tornado, F4 tornado, whatever. So I can change the stroke size based on that OM. At least I thought it was. That didn't seem to actually do anything. Let me make sure I'm not thinking of another. MO? Yeah, that must be it. I don't know why there's an OM and an MO, but yeah, that is the magnitude right there. I guess. Of course, this one seemed a lot stronger than that. So let's add the pop-up there. There is a damage, there's a loss. Yeah, I mean there's definitely an argument for using loss instead of the magnitude. So that one shows up darker, and this one still shows up pretty dark. That's the loss from that tornado. It's a pretty long tornado. So here it looks like mostly, for the most part, these longer tornadoes were more loss, which makes sense. But in any case, we're looking at just 2017. What if we wanted to look at 2017, 2016, 2015, 2014? We want to look at it all. Well, that's where this time series comes in, the slider. And so, you know, this is another reason that these kind of tools are powerful, in that because it's supported by the data in the background, we can do just that with this data. So the way that we would do that is get rid of this map. We don't need this map. I'm just going to go back to. I'm going to go back to this one, because this map here has all of the data, and we need all the data in order to do a time series map. So here's all the data. It looks really confusing with all of the data on it, right? But we can go up to widgets, and there's a widget for time series data. So now notice that it says this option won't show you the time series widget. Okay, so we want to do the time series on the date. We've got time, we've got month. I think that is the only date layer. Do you see another date layer? Yeah, I mean year would work, but this allows us to get a little bit more precise. So I'm going to choose date. Okay, and it automatically, it kind of like with the date. This is actually a date field, and so it automatically creates this slider. What do you think the higher and lower is? Yes, the number of records in that year. So we can look and see that in this year, in 1958, there were more than the nearby years. Okay? And one of the things that's interesting to me, you know, at least living around here, it does seem to be. It may be. I mean, there's reasons for it, right? There could be different reasons for it, but there definitely seems to be an upward trend, right, in terms of the number of tornadoes. And it could just be an instrumentation thing. It could be that people are living in more areas. You know, we're taking up more space on the land, and so there are more tornadoes reported because people are like, oh yeah, there's a tornado. So it's not just, like, I'm not saying that climate change is definitely causing this or anything like that. I'm just saying it's an interesting trend for whatever reason that it's happening. We're seeing more tornadoes, and you get to see that on the map. And oh, it does. That is pretty cool. It'd be interesting to see if you could change that. Does this do that? Yeah. So this changes whether or not it's dynamic or not. You see that? So now the zoom does this. This says no, don't change the data. When I zoom in and out, this says yeah, change it, make it different. Now if I wanted to change, well, here, let's change the actual base map first. Okay. So I'm going to change the time zone to match our time. I'm not sure that really matters because we're dealing with things that are more on yearly scales. Okay. But we could change the buckets so that it actually showed us the data over decades rather than, so this is over decades rather than over years. we've got quarters, and we've got years. Now, if your data is not time series data, if it's just a series, it doesn't have to be time series data, but time series is one that most often makes sense in this way. Well, let's just say you had a bunch of data here that was on some sort of range. Then your number of buckets, if it doesn't know that it's a time, it'll just allow you to put a number in here. So, every 50 you could put in a bucket, or every 30 you could put in a bucket. And then it would allow you to just look at, so we could, maybe we could put damage down there in the series. Okay, if we put damage down here in the series, we could only look at where the small puny tornadoes hit, or we could only look at the violent, lots of damage tornadoes. So what this time series allows us to do is actually to select, okay, I only want to see from 1975 to 1960, or I only want to see, very recent tornadoes in the last few years. So this allows us to have this like moving window that moves through, and we can change that. We can also hit clear. It'll take us out. So it's like a selection range. It's another GIS type tool, but that widget is built in to the web map. So when we build that web map, we can share it with other people, and they have that same ability. And we can also go back and do a combination of both. If we go back to the layers, we can still edit this layer and change the, maybe it's just magnitude. I should go back and, when I made it, I forgot which, I used magnitude or OM or AM. I should have paid better attention, but let's because we definitely know what loss is. Loss. All right. And stroke color, we also want to make that loss. By the way, anybody remember from Intro to GIS what that's called? What I just did when I take two different symbols and I vary the same one. It's redundant encoding. So it's changing the width and the color as I get more and more intense. Now, obviously, that looks like too much information, but I do have this ability to look at just sometimes. Just look at a short period. And I have the ability to look in just the Hattiesburg area. So I can see that tornado that happened, and maybe use this to see how tornadoes, to study. Part of the reason why we map things is to visualize and to look for patterns visually and see how things are changing where they are. Right? So that's that. Blending, we're going to do that later. I wonder if I can do this. Yeah, you can't really do it with this kind of data. Okay. So I can go back here. Now the point is here that I have this. This is tied to this, but I can change the symbols and do this data independent of each other. So I already did time series. All right. Change the base map. I think I'm going to change the base map. No, that's probably not good. I don't know. Probably want something more simple. It's probably something like that's probably good. Okay. I can change all of the, to make this a refined map, I should make the title look right and everything, but I should make all of these, I'm going to change this column there, that's where it is. Change this at least to say date maybe, so it looks better. In any case, once I'm satisfied, like I said, I should change the other elements. I can hit publish again, and the same as I've done before. Now I have this link. I could post it on my Facebook page and say, hey, look at these things that are happening. And it'll give you the current state of the map. So if you had a selection, it would give you that as the share link, but I shared it without that. But I did have it zoomed in. So you can put other information on there and build your web map using CartoDB. Okay, let's go back here real quick. So you're going to do a map like this as an example. This is one of the exercises that you're going to do. This is kind of cool. This shows different bird species and migrating from different places. So not only is there a time series, but it also shows you how to animate it. And it does the blurring that I was trying to do with the tornadoes. It works better with the pointing. So you can see through time, the birds come down here to North Africa, and then they'll go back up to Europe, to the Belgian area. And then it just loops. They go down, come back, and so this is one of the assignments that you'll do. Now with each one of these, you'll download the resources. So in this case, you're going to download this data set, and it's a CSV, which you can open up in Excel. And what it does is it shows the bird name, and it shows the latitude and longitude of that bird at that time, and it shows you the date time. So when you import these into CartoDB, those are the fields you're going to use. The latitude and longitude are going to be the GHY field. The bird name is going to be the color that shows up, and the date time is going to be the time. So you can do that, and then the last thing that you're going to do is you're going to you're going to answer some of these questions here. The final task is you're going to make a map in Carto with some time slider information, similar to either the bird map or the tornado map. It's just got to have that time series widget on it. And it doesn't actually have to be time. I noted that, if there's another interesting variable, it basically just allows you to slice a numerical variable up. That's what it allows you to do. Okay? Some of your own data. If you don't have any data that can be animated over a numerical data set, okay, you can find some online or just make up your own. If you want to make up your own, that's fine. There's plenty online. There's places that you can get earthquake data. There's places you can get hurricane data. Those all have time stamps associated with them. You can really use almost any GIS data set because you could slice it. You could download You could use the same census data that we uploaded, okay, and then your time series would just be slicing up, which counties were very low population, which counties were very high population. I mean, it's not as interesting as time series data in this case, I don't think, but you could do it. All right. So that's what you have to do. So you have to turn in the 2 maps that you made from Google Map Maker and Carto with the data that you did last week. Okay. Then you need a link to each map you created in the exercise above. I'm going to modify this because it's really only going to be 3 links. You don't need to turn a map in for the first one. And then a link to the slider map you're going to create on your own in Carto. That's this one. And then the answer to the questions. These are the questions right here. Okay. So most of these questions, the answer can be found if you do these tutorials. All right. Let's see. Are there any other questions that y'all have about that? Does it work for anybody yet? Did anybody try to do the Carto pack? I mean the GitHub pack. Did it work? Did you get into Carto?
I signed up for it, but I haven't been granted anything.
Okay. Well, Ashley up here is into Carto using the student link. You want me to go over that again real quick? I'm going to post that link in the lab. So this is the link that you went to, right? Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. All right, I'm going to post that and my credentials so that if you want to use my credentials for now, you can do that. So I'm going to go ahead and edit this right now. No map to.
So I went ahead and signed up for the student bank through GitHub, but when I go to Carto and do login with GitHub, it doesn't let me do it.
It doesn't let you. It doesn't let you do what?
Log in. So I had a GitHub account where I'm taking the Python class. So I had to link the student thing to it and got that approved. And Carter, when you go to log in, you can log in with Google or GitHub. In GitHub, it pops up the screen, and when I GitHub username and whatnot, hit that, and then it's like we couldn't find a user associated with that account.
You got the same thing?
I got the same message as well.
I'm sorry, what did you say? I don't think they're going to let you in if you don't use a .edu email address. So is your GitHub account associated with the Okay, but and it still didn't let you. What do you think that you did differently, Ashley? You didn't use your existing one? Let me see what Williams. Why did it log in?
So I even, once I verified the student back at GitHub, I even made sure my student email address was my primary for GitHub, and then tried to log into Carto through GitHub, and none of those worked.
All right. Forrest, I think, cracked the nut here. So, what's that? Yeah. So you do. Yeah. Well, that's oops. That's the same. That's the same link as this, right? Like, you have to start at this page. Did you guys start at this page?
I did that.
Okay. So you said get your pack. Just a second. So you said, and then you went to yes, I'm a student.
Did that.
Okay. And then did it work?
Sure did.
Okay. So you hit this.
I'm good on the GitHub side.
Okay. So then you hit submit request, and that worked, right?
Correct.
Okay. Then you go to Cardo student. So you have to go to this page. Did you go to this page yet?
No, that's what I've been doing wrong.
Then you hit sign up with GitHub. See that?
Yeah.
And then I'm not a student. I mean, I guess I could check the box and get the thing, but I can't really because then it wouldn't become true. So, and plus I already have an account. So there's really no reason. But yours should work if you put your.
Okay, all right. So that did work.
Okay, awesome. Did that work for everybody here so far? All right. Except for people that aren't in the class, and that's fine. All right, so I'm glad that we got through that all in class, right? So everybody's here today, so we're all set. So now you can go in and do your own CartoDB stuff. You can create your own maps, and experiment and play around, and then do the lab and send me the links and the answers to the questions. So now, are there any questions? All right, so next week we'll do very similar things with ArcGIS Online, but there's even a little bit more functionality. I kind of like the simple elegance of Carto, but there's a little bit more stuff in ArcGIS Online to go over, so it might take a couple weeks. But, you know, just while we have this open, I'm going to go back to Carto for a second. Go to my data sets. So here's the time-enabled data sets. SQL. latitude 30, longitude -89. Nope. There it is. Oh. Anyway, I thought since I had a little bit of extra time, I'd play around with this. Oh, is that greater? No, that's less than. Well, anyway, I thought I'd play around with trying to find out, trying to ask the question of trying to find the tornadoes within a certain distance of this point, but it doesn't look like it's returning anything. See if it just doesn't have that. So it's not returning anything. The geometry, even at 300. So my guess is that there's something a little bit wrong with my SQL query. But the point is, you can ask spatial questions, and they're formulated similar to this, where we say, select all the columns from this data set where the records are within a distance of this point that we made. But that's not working really well. So in any case, I'm going to go ahead and finish the lecture there about a half hour early, and we'll resume again next.